How's it going, guys? I'm here with your WWE news, and I haven't done one of these in a few weeks now, so it's long overdue. Not a lot of interesting stories as of late. There's a few things here that I thought that would be interesting to talk about, so I decided to do one. I want to keep this fairly consistent, So Enzo Amore, a lot of people were messaging me about this, and I'm happy to hear, especially Abdullah Shaker, he's been cleared, barring any further evidence against him. But we all know that there isn't going to be any evidence being held against the guy, thankfully. This was a whole scam. This was a means to get attention. Philomena was obviously out for Enzo's money. Obviously, she was looking for a payout for damages. She was looking for publicity, for not even really a famous wrestler, but the guy had a lot of notoriety. She ruined this guy's career. I know a lot of people don't care out there in the YWC. There's a lot of people, a lot of my subscribers are split on how they feel about Enzo, or at least some people who didn't like Enzo were at least sympathetic towards the man, as really any type of caring human being should. I mean, why would you want this guy to end up in a situation where he could be in jail, for a good part of his life? Who knows how serious the sentence would be. Think about it. Sometimes judges make examples of people, and, Enzo is not exactly a Hollywood celebrity, so, you could kind of see how the treatment was a lot more harsh. Enzo getting arrested. He lost his job with WWE because he wasn't completely 100% honest. And I gotta be quite honest with you guys. I still stand by what I said months ago when this happened. What was it, at the beginning of the year, pretty much? Yeah, like around the Raw 25. The timing was just uncanny. Enzo was all set to make a big splash at Raw 25. They had a segment planned for him, and everything was canceled. And, before we knew it, it was a suspension. And in less than 24 hours, the man was unemployed. And, it's not like people haven't been fired and rehired over time. I mean, we've seen it with Billy Gunn and everything. I mean, Billy Gunn using an illegal substance. I just don't see, how everyone's saying, oh, he's not going to get rehired because he lied about the guy. See, the thing is, the WWE has this full disclosure policy where, if you get in trouble with the law, you're supposed to alert them. The thing is, they should probably kind of understand that when you get accused of something like this and, you're not going to be in the right frame of mind. You're obviously going to be scared. You're going to try to probably hide him. That might not be the best thing, but really, if something like this happened to you, or even to the people in management, I'm just asking them to be a bit more human when looking at this situation. Obviously, you got to take a look at it and look at it from a human perspective. Be a little humane here and realize that people are going to get scared when they're faced with this level of adversity, especially we see what's going on in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry. Overall, people are going to have their careers ruined. And so, Enzo knows that he is not even at the level of a Harvey Weinstein. But he's going to, obviously his career is going to be mired for quite some time, just to say the least. So, I hope that WWE brings him back. It could be a little bit messy now based on... But the thing is, I mean, at the end of the day, it's pretty clear-cut. God bless I Am Sam Cook for what he did, how he showed that evidence to the internet. I mean, that guy right there, inspirational, jumping to Enzo's defense. I couldn't really expect anything more from an individual. That showed real class. That showed that he cared what happened to Enzo, that he didn't want to see this nut job get the best of Enzo and ruin his entire life. She ruined his career, but at least his life is somewhat back on track. So whatever. If Enzo doesn't end up getting rehired, I hope he has money saved up. I hope he could have a fulfilling life outside of wrestling if the WWE rehiring option is completely off the table. I hope it's not. I'd love to see him back in WWE right now. You see how just downright boring the Cruiserweight division is? Do you guys even notice that they haven't even done any Raw Cruiserweight stuff since Enzo's been gone? I mean, that's how fucking broken it is. Drew Gulak, who was at least getting some notoriety, some character development on the show. You notice ever since they've done this whole new era with Rockstar Spud taking over and Enzo's been gone, it hasn't been the same. So you could see the impact that Enzo was having on WWE, and especially the Cruiserweight division, to be specific. There has been many accusations of Nikki Bella and John Cena faking their breakup, calling off the marriage. We saw Total Divas. Well, I didn't see it, but I heard about it. Some people saw it. And there's many people such as Raj Geary from Wrestling Inc. who proclaimed that after the NBC Late Show, whatever show it was on, Cena got super emotional. He felt that it was acted out, that it wasn't a real, true-to-life reaction, that it was simply kayfabe being played out on TV, which we've seen, many times before. We saw some of that kayfabe with the NBC event with Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax, which was awful, but nonetheless, it was some kayfabe storytelling that they, or lack thereof, that they tried doing right there on live television. And Nikki Bella responded to this and said it was cyberbullying, which it is really to a certain extent. I mean, you're entertainers, you kind of know that this type of stuff is going to go on, but this just speaks to all the rants I've done on the YWC. And just how inappropriate many of these fans are. I mean, without a doubt, like I said, we were living in one of the worst eras in wrestling, where the fans have completely hijacked the show. And despite what a lot of people are commenting in my Raw review, I'm not just singling out UK fans, but I'm just saying I've noticed in the UK things get worse. I noticed the post-Raw, the post-WrestleMania Raws are the worst when the UK fans are involved, because, I'm not saying, from whatever perspective you want to look at it as, if you want to say that the UK fans are passionate, if that's your idea of passion, whatever the case may be, then go ahead and run with that version of the story. I've just noticed that they're a lot more aggressive, a lot ruder, and they're a lot more vocal. Whether you want to say that's a good thing or a bad thing is completely up to the individual. It really is your viewpoint on wrestling is, and if you feel that you've paid your hard-earned money and you deserve whatever you want to do with this show, or do you feel that there should be a certain level of class? It really depends on how you look at it. You guys know where I stand on it. I feel that, going to a show and acting like an asshole is not really, the best way you could spend your time at one of these events. I said, if you're unhappy with the show and you don't like the way how it's going, you should probably just, not go to the show and not spend your money and show WWE that the product is boring and terrible. But, you just want to go to put yourself over. I get why people do that. I really do. I understand that. But, I said, I don't think it's the best way to send that message to WWE. If you're giving them money, you're sending the wrong message. But anyway, this just shows how, even with all these different accusations, just people are too obsessed with celebrity news, with this breakup, or they're too obsessed with wrestling and the wrestling news. It's kind of like, who really cares if it's kayfabe or not? Should we really care? It's not even being played out on Raw and SmackDown. We're hearing about it, in passing through Twitter and through these late night shows. That, if they want to make this into a real storyline, then just put it out there on Raw, for God's sakes. I mean, enough with this, outside. The show's so terrible, we could use some of this type of drama on the show. So I don't even know why everyone's going so back and forth. Like, why did these people even care? I understand that they want to just troll Nikki Bella and John Cena because the Smarks don't like them. They felt that Nikki Bella only got her push due to Cena's pull with the company, and they just don't like Cena, so they're happy that he broke up with his fiance. It's just completely, complete immaturity. Whatever happens to the guy, it happened for a reason. He wasn't ready for marriage. And, trolling these people on Twitter, just seriously, get a life already. Find something better to do. If you don't even like these individuals, the best thing you could probably do is to ignore them, to send the message that you don't like them. But instead you're going to spend your time obsessing over these individuals and showing you how much, time you're spending thinking about these people. So it kind of is weird, I don't like Finn Balor, I don't like Samoa Joe, I don't like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, but I don't tweet them mean trolling messages because really I don't even really care to look at these people. I don't want to think about them. If they come up, in a Raw review, SmackDown reviews, I'm going to talk about them because they're right then and there. I'm watching it for the benefit of the review. But if it doesn't have to do anything like that, I'm not going to talk about these individuals because I don't like them and I don't want to spend my time watching their daily goings on and stuff like that. And finally, speaking of Finn Balor, he is in the news. It's Sisters Abigail. Remember the whole TLC thing, the endless Finn Balor-Bray Wyatt feud? He talks about how he's actually happy that the Sister Abigail thing didn't happen because it gave birth to his career. And, gave his career a second wind. I don't really see it. I look on Raw and I see just him in a random tag match, with Braun Strowman against Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. I don't really see where he benefited from. Okay, so he qualified in the Money in the Bank. He had a mundane match at WrestleMania that really has been forgotten by just about everybody. So I don't really see how this really benefited. At least the Sister Abigail thing would have been a bit interesting, and he doesn't even admit that in the interview, that it would have been interesting, but he's saying a good thing had happened. Since that happened and Bray Wyatt had returned, I'm happy that Bray has found his way with Matt Hardy, and it's an interesting team, but they haven't done anything storyline-wise with Bray Wyatt since the Finn Balor thing. Besides the whole Matt thing, it really has went off the rails, and I guess Finn Balor's happy because it benefited him, but I don't really see the benefit besides having that AJ Styles match, where everybody was marking out at TLC. I don't really see how it was, really a good move for him. He's really about in the same place he was prior to that feud. I mean, he's not really had any character development. If anything, they haven't even let him cut any promos since that point. Remember, prior to that, he was cutting promos every night, and, if they give you promo time, that means they're invested in you. Now he's just kind of like a guy there on the roster with nothing really, They wanted to give him the whole LBGT gimmick, but they look like they backpedal on that tremendously. So, I don't really know how this kind of benefited him. It's kind of a strange comment. He feels he's benefited from it, from it's kind of, I really, don't know what to think about this comment. He's basically saying he's happy that Bray Wyatt's not doing well, because it made him do well. I don't know. I don't want to be super sensitive to this comment. I'm not getting triggered over it or anything, but I'm just saying it's sort of a weird comment to make. Oh, Bray Wyatt got sick and we didn't have to do this angle, and so now I got to do other things, but I don't really think his career has really improved. I don't think they're ever giving Finn Balor another title. I just don't think it's going to happen, especially, when you see guys like Brock Lesnar. I mean, I know that was a match rumored for quite some time, but I think even Vince McMahon woke up and says, hey, I don't think Finn Balor is nearly over enough to be in a match with Brock Lesnar. So there you go, guys. Aside from that, Shane McMahon got hernia surgery. He seems like he's doing okay. And that's pretty much the news for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, Finn Balor sounding like an asshole, fans acting like assholes to Nikki, Bella, and Cena. And finally, Enzo is, you know, doing better than he's been in months. You know, but I don't know if his career is going to be restarted, unfortunately. But I hope all the best for him. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this edition of WWE News. Until next time.